We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All righty. Don't forget the holiday party platters are big at the Big Cheese, but go treat that person that you love to some great Italian food. All the pasta is shipped from Italy, cooked fresh daily, 305-662-6855. And if you're doing any kind of get-together for the New Year's, you can order any dish and make it a holiday party platter. Pickup or delivery, 305-662-6855. Ask for Billy or Gary or anybody out there. They will take care of you. Great people at BigCheeseMiami.com. All right, Manny, as always, Mario is hard at work recruiting. And, brother, he is hitting the top 100 hard.
Yep. Yes, he is. Five of the transfers, all five of them that they've landed so far in the portal are top 100 players according to the 247 composite rankings. A couple of those guys are one-year guys. They're only here for a year, but two of them are sort of three-year eligibility players, which I think is more important in today's day and age, right? You want to be able to find somebody that can give you more than 1 year. And especially the secondary, which is a position that I think Miami badly needs help. Yes. We saw that happen in the Syracuse game at the end of the season. So the big pickup this week was Emmanuel Carnley, 6'2", 6'3" cornerback, another big-bodied guy. Started 6 games as a redshirt freshman this past season for Arizona. His PFF scores are not great, but I would tell you that based on scouts and people that actually watch this guy play, they think he's super talented and just needs to be in a better system, but has the talent to be a good player for him. So they've been able to get 3 guys in the secondary so far, which is good, and I still think they're going to be working to get some more.
I mean, listen, on the recruiting side, it's fun, but I don't necessarily get too excited. I get more, at least pumped up a little bit about some of these kids that have proven something. Yeah. And so they have played at the college level. You know, they have shown you something on tape. So now your people can actually go and watch what they've been able to put out there and then make their own determination whether they can play. That's why those kind of moves are the ones that you can get excited about. The guys you recruit out of high school, you have no idea what they really are. At least with some of these guys, there's some legit tape out there.
Yeah, and I think, again, we need to discuss the fact that so many guys enter the portal now after 1 or 2 years in college, right? Some of the guys Miami has lost in the portal are guys that just got here within the last year or two. So that's the trade-off with all of this. And so you've ultimately got to continue to look in the portal for established guys that have played a lot of snaps, that have experience, that have been on the field. And in Miami's case, every single one of these guys that they've brought in have played at the FBS level. Okay, maybe not all of them are Power 4 conference guys, but they played a lot. Like David Blay, for instance, Louisiana Tech, the big defensive tackle that they landed. The guy had 6 sacks last year. Played against Power 4 teams. It's not just tape against Group of 5 type schools. So had success against better teams. So it's good evaluation. It's getting guys that are experienced. And I think that's what ultimately matters. You look at the rosters of the teams that are in the playoffs. Indiana, for example, perfect example with what Curt Cignetti did. He brought in a bunch of Group of 5 guys that played a ton. And that translated to 11 wins. And so I think ultimately college football, all the college sports are changing. The way you evaluate players, the way you build rosters is changing. When you can get a kid like Emmanuel Carnley or Zach Poyser from Jacksonville State, who was on a conference championship team that started and played a lot of games, you are setting yourself up well for the future, especially if you can pay them the way that Miami pays their football players.
All right, so let me ask you something, because this could be a catch-22 here. So you've got Williams waiting in the wings to start at QB. You had phenomenal success going out and getting Cam Ward. Okay, so do you do it again? Do you go out and get yourself the best QB that's available out there that has a ton of starts like Cam Ward? Or do you give Williams a chance? But if you go out and get another recruit, are you going to hurt yourself overall, and you're never going to land the QB that's willing to come and pay his dues, because they're going to say, oh, well, all Mario's going to do is go out and get the next 1 year quarterback and the next 1 year quarterback and the next one. Why am I going to go there and pay my dues? So
Right.
how important is it to play Williams, or how bad of a message sent is if you don't play Williams, who has paid his dues for the last couple of years, including injury and everything, and he has waited for his moment, and if he doesn't get it, what is that good? Is that bad? How do we look at that? You explain it to me.
Well, it's a great question, and I think it's tough to answer because ultimately, while you'd love to be able to just pull guys out of the high school ranks, develop them over time, and have them turn into stars, if Emory Williams fails, right? If Emory Williams goes out there, loses the season opener to Notre Dame, throws 4 picks, and the next week Miami's battling for its life, and you didn't sign a veteran quarterback, and you got to turn to a freshman or somebody else, you've totally, I mean, the program has taken a huge step back.
Right.
So I think every college coach looks at the way the transfer portal is now, especially the movement of quarterbacks. I mean, you look at the number of players in the portal, a lot of them are quarterbacks who were 4 or 5-star guys that still never got a chance to play because they were superseded by transfers. You just have to be good at identifying the right guy. And so if the right guy becomes available for Miami, and I don't know that any of them were necessarily the right guy, maybe besides John Mateer, uh, if the right guy becomes available in the next month, if he drops off of the roster at Texas, for instance, Quinn Ewers decides I want to come back to college one more year, and oh, by the way, I don't have a starting job anymore at Texas because Arch Manning is taking over, I think Miami gets involved there because they're looking to upgrade the quarterback position with somebody who has won at this highest level possible. And that's the same thing they did with Cam Ward. They waited until the middle of January to do it. So I think without question, they're going to play this smart. Mario Cristobal has the responsibility of leading this program to more wins and not fewer wins. And so you cannot risk it by just saying, oh, Emory Williams is good enough. Emory Williams started 2 games for you as a freshman. And won one of them against Clemson and completed less than 50% of his passes in that game. So you cannot go into a new season saying Emory Williams is the answer and we have a bunch of other freshmen. You need to protect yourself, and I expect Miami will do that.
All right. They attacked corner. What's the next position they could be attacking NIL recruiting?
Well, I think secondary is still a place where they're going to look to add more depth and talent. Xavier Lucas is a guy that is kind of in a little bit of a mess at Wisconsin, trying to get out of that. He's a hometown kid here from South Florida. All expectations a week ago was that he was going to enter the portal. Wisconsin is, I don't know what's going on there behind the scenes, but he hasn't come into the portal officially yet. Once he does, Miami is, I think, would pounce on him. He was very close to committing to Miami out of high school, so he's a guy I think that's still in the mix. I think there's some other guys in the secondary, safety position in particular, that they're still looking at as well. I would say tight end. Riley Williams is a guy who just left the program, second-year guy. Didn't start any games while he was there, but played a lot of snaps, about 500 snaps, was in position to be a guy who would be a part of the rotation here at the tight end position. So I think if you can go out and land a veteran tight end, somebody to just, again, secure the room, right? Especially if you have injuries. If Elijah Lofton moves to running back or gets hurt, you're going to need somebody at that tight end position. They didn't use the tight end position a lot this year. Obviously, Elijah Royal had a decent year. But again, this is a 3-4 wide receiver set, this offense, the way it's constructed right now. So, and I think next year you're going to be more of a running team. So it makes sense for Miami to go out and find a veteran tight end, a blocking type guy who can help set the edge for your running game.
All right. So we've seen, again, every year we're going to see a lot of people leave, too, at the same time. There have been some defections. Are there any defections that Canes fans should be disappointed in?
Well, I think Isaiah Horton is one of them. He
I like
just
him.
Yeah, Isaiah Horton was a good receiver. Third-year guy. Again, Miami losing somebody to an SEC school, going to Alabama at the receiver position. I think that's one that's going to hurt. I think Riley Williams is another one, just because he was, preparing to kind of step into that starting role, and be somebody, that would be a depth piece. Everybody else, I think, is easily replaceable among the guys who departed. I would say those are the two that sting the most, and I would say Horton is one. We'll see what he does at Alabama next year. But, Miami's trying to address the receiver position. They've got one guy that they've brought in who's a veteran, CJ Daniels, comes over from LSU, started a bunch of games in his career previously at a G5 school. But I still think they're looking to add more experience to that room as well. So, but those two are the ones that I would point to and say those are the ones that sting a little bit.
All right. What are you working on the Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I will be in Orlando for the Pop-Tarts Bowl tomorrow. I will also be at the Under Armour All-American Media Day event. I always do a recruiting confidential where I talk to a bunch of kids and ask them questions and don't put their name on it so they can talk freely and openly about some of the subjects I'm going to bring up to them. So those are all things you'll be able to read from me in the coming week. And I'm doing a ton of stuff on the transfer portal constantly, writing stories. I just wrote a piece on Jim Larinaga and his decision to quit yesterday. So there's a ton to read at theathletic.com.
And follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. Manny, drive safely, my brother.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the New Year's, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Same to you, brother. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro with our Big Cheese Miami Hurricanes NIL and recruiting reports.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
This is the Big O Show.